connected, we will map all of the screens exactly where they are, and then we can start to deliver hyper-relevant messaging for the right messages, right customer, right time in their shopper journey. So that's the exciting bit on digitalization of store. And then as we think into the future, of course, you know, I don't know if Sainsbury's will look like this, but you can imagine a world where there's beacon technology setting off adverts as you walk around. We already have Your Nectar Prices, which is personalized offers for all customers as they shop today. So as we think of the future, Pollen is really well set to enable that growth. And here's a quick schematic of how it works. You'll go onto the platform, you'll think about your campaign objectives, define who your target audiences are, book your campaigns, and then it goes into the CMS, and that allows you to distribute your assets across our network, effectively bringing the offline environment online. And then the secret sauce is, as I'm going to pass back to Tom, is measurement, because obviously without the measurement, then we won't be able to succeed with our campaigns.
Awesome, thanks, Rob. I'm going to talk a couple of minutes now just on measurement. It's a real passion area of mine. And it feels almost a cliche to put this quote up in kind of slides, actually, when you're talking about measurement. Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. Now, whether you believe it was the founder of Unilever, the founder of Ogilvy, the founder of Macy's that kind of said this, and there's certainly debates online about it, there still holds an element of truth within this. And it is that truth, that never-ending quest for the truth in media measurement. Now, the challenge is there's no single version of that truth. It depends on the methodology and the approaches you take. Think through attribution. Attribution is scalable, can run across many, many channels, but ultimately it looks at correlation to your sales outcomes. Think about sales lift. Ultimately, the incremental impact of your campaign on those outcomes. But ultimately, you have to run it in small test and control environments, capture the learning, and then you learn to scale. Or there's elements like marketing mix. Full, robust, really deep analysis that gives you those insights that you can help drive back to the business. But it takes a long time to execute. It's really complex, fairly costly as well. And actually, what's interesting about retail media is, well, really, this should be solved. The whole strength and power of retail media is its ability to close the loop on that in-store sale. This is what it does better than any other channels. But then we've made this really, really complex as well. If you think back to all the different channels that we've spoken about today, all of them have different methodologies, different approaches, and all of them then measured independently of each other as well. So actually, the challenge is fairly consistent. It's very difficult to know which channel is truly driving the outcomes you're seeing. Which is why, as part of Pollen, we are so excited into our machine learning algorithm, which then goes through to develop a baseline and incremental sales, so bringing back ROAS, and then it breaks out the unique contributions of each of those items, enabling you to have real scalable, measurable, and incremental measurement. This is an incredibly exciting moment for the industry, and what is really, really great is that we're not stopping here. This is just the starting point. integration is on our roadmap. How do we then take that data and feed that back into our clients' sources of truth internally? How do we also collaborate on specific measurement challenges, answering elements like dynamic attribution windows and things like creative testing and iteration? And all of this aligned to today's and the future standards across the industry. This is a really, really exciting time, and again, really, really points to this big pivotal moment where retail media is about to accelerate even more. Rob, do you want to close us out?
Thank you. Cool. So that's the wrap for our section. I've brought back a mere slide on that campaign that we're really, really proud about. I think what I'll say is the quote there, Retail Media 3.0, starts with the customer, ends with results. That is literally what we've done. We started with the customer there and then ended with that incredible multi-touch attribution step forward that we're taking. And the reason I want to use this as a final thought is, look, this was a campaign that we were really proud of. And if you think about the customer insight that drove it, the omni-channel element to it, and obviously the results being so fantastic, this was truly best-in-class campaign. But if you think for a second about what we've now just talked about, all of the capability that Pollen brings, and the way that we are going to connect our stores in a truly digital environment so that you can start to track and advertise a little bit like you'd be able to online, how that's linked into Pollen, and then how that is turbocharged by the multi-touch attribution, you can really understand which elements of the media mix are driving your performance. These sorts of campaigns will go from being best in class to just the standard campaigns that we can do through Nectar and the possibilities of what we can do in the future are really exciting. So I'm going to leave it there, and we are now going to hear from the team that built Pollen, and I'd like to hand over to Alice and her panel.
It's whatever you like.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, this is, I think, where the fun starts, right? So this is where we can get into the heads of the people that actually built Pollen, and our amazing clients and partners that have been with us along the journey. So as you've heard today, we're really here to talk about solutions, not problems, and specifically how Pollen is designed to cut through all of the complexity within the retail media landscape. We really want to solve for simplicity, speed, and smarter decision-making. And what makes this conversation particularly valuable, and what I'm very excited about, is we're not just going to talk theory, we're not just going to show you some nice slides that we've made in the office. Instead, we're going to talk to the people that really made this happen. So let me introduce them. We've got Charlotte Murphy, who is the head of digital retail media at Unilever. She has over 12 years' experience in helping brands grow through digital data and tech solutions, really specializing in retail media. Charlotte has been part of Pollen's beta testing group and absolutely instrumental to shaping what it looks like now. Next to her, we've got Isabel, who is our head of product at Sainsbury's. She has the joy and sometimes the pain of partnering with us to lead the technical development and the vision really behind Pollen and bringing everything together. We've got Abhinav, who is our senior engineering manager, and he leads all of our engineering teams on innovation and AI. So definitely the man to speak to in the break to get some good nuggets on where the future of AI is going. And then the amazing Vicky, who is the group digital director at Good Stuff, who are the award-winning media planning and buying agency, who are obsessed with cutting through complexity, so perfect panelist, and really going to bring the agency perspective. And I'm Alice, I'm the director of digital retail media at Nectar 360. So what we're going to do today is we're going to explore everything behind Pollen. We're going to unpack it and really understand, does it solve the real pain points out there, or are we just making the same challenges look pretty? So let's dial in and start with the facts. So retail media spend is hitting 1 billion this year, probably even more by today, let's be honest. James is probably working the figures in the background as we speak. But everyone is still talking about the complicated landscape. So Charlotte, I'm going to come to you first. What is the most frustrating thing about running a retail media campaign today?
Yeah, thank you, Alice. It's really exciting to be here today. One of the most frustrating things about running a retail media campaign has to be the amount of fragmentation. We often talk about fragmentation at a wider industry level with the amount of retail media networks, but there's also a significant amount of fragmentation at individual retail media network level. And what I mean by that is the process for on-site, off-site, and in-store can be completely different. So you have one campaign and 3 different processes. It makes it really challenging for brands to deliver that seamless execution. And that type of fragmentation really slows us down as an industry, which is why I've been really excited to partner with you on Pollen, because it answers a lot of the questions that brands are asking, which is how can we make this area of media more seamless, more connected, and executing to the best of our ability.
And I think that's a super important point, right? None of us just shop online or just shop in store. And therefore, that fragmentation really doesn't help when we're trying to deliver seamless customer-first campaigns.
Exactly.
You are nodding furiously, Vicky.
Yes.
Tell me your point of view.
Yes, I completely agree with Charlotte. I think fragmentation is one of the most frustrating things and something we've seen. Well, obviously, retail media has absolutely exploded in the last couple of years, but with all kinds of different partners, putting their data out to market, new partners joining every day. Obviously, Amex have just opened their digital ad platform only in the last week, so that's a whole new source of inventory in the marketplace. I think from an agency perspective, our role really is to, as we say, keep it simple for our clients. We're there to provide a service, and we really sit between brand and consumer.